What's going on, guys? Sean here, coming at y'all with a quick little video. We're going to talk a little bit about OKC versus Spurs tonight. Just my thoughts. Obviously, I'm watching these games after the fact. They all kind of blend together at this point. I probably should have started doing videos on them a little bit sooner, but I figured better late than never. So we'll go over that a little bit, and we'll go over the Knicks Cavs series a little. Some stuff James Harden said and just some other stuff that has been floating around the NBA world. Just my thoughts, putting it all together. Obviously, the we'll start with the Knicks and the Cavs because that's a little bit easier to cover. The Cavs gave up. The Cavs gave up after they went down 0-2. I think the Cavs gave up after the Knicks came back from down 22. I think that game was over right then and there. I think that was pretty much all the push that Cleveland had, and the Knicks just pounded them into the ground for the rest of the series. One thing I never thought I would say in a million years is the Knicks are good. They're really good. Obviously, when they play OKC or they play the Spurs, we're really going to get to see them up against a true opponent. But the way they've won their last 8 games, you cannot overlook this team. You can bring up Wemby, you can bring up SGA, and that's fine. That's going to be a hell of a battle, but they got where they got for a reason. They're so much better this year than anyone gave them credit for. They were playing awful defense in the first half of the season. I mean, they were bad. We were, me and people I know and in my circles, we were having a great time laughing about the Knicks earlier this year, and something just clicked about the halfway point, maybe later, maybe earlier. And they're a brand new team. They're totally different, and whoever they face in the finals, better be ready because they've done so many different things to score. They've won in so many different ways. They lose at OG Anunoby, they still win. They have a big Josh Hart game. They have a big Mikal Bridges game. They have a Karl Anthony Towns game, and every game Jalen Brunson has showed up. Um, it's been insane. I just want to give them the fair credit there. They are so much better than I ever would have imagined this year, and good for them. Good on them. They've outworked everybody in the East up to this point, and they deserve to be exactly where they are. Cleveland, on the other hand, you've got to be out of your mind. I'm firing the coach. I'm firing the GM. I'm getting rid of James Harden. I'm probably trading Donovan Mitchell too, while he still has value, if he has value at this point. And I'm building around Evan Mobley because outside of Evan Mobley, I haven't seen anything. And even Evan Mobley's looked bad, but the whole team around him quit. So you can't, be surprised that when everybody around you's quit, that he doesn't quit as well. The numbers aren't super flashy, but you watch Evan Mobley play the game, and he put forth a lot of effort, I feel like, and it kind of went unnoticed, which in fairness, they lost. It doesn't really deserve much credit, but that's just what I would do. The fact that they kept their head coach and James Harden's coming out and calling himself a good defender. He worded it differently, but he called himself a good defender, and he's never been that. He's been able to keep in front of guys for the majority of his career, but even all the way back in Philadelphia, there was no good defense. Teams were smart enough, they would pick him apart, and there was not much he could do about it. Um, the Cavaliers are a joke. It's just they might as well blow it up while they're ahead. Um, Going on to OKC versus the Spurs, I think tonight OKC is going to answer back. I just don't see. Everyone says, did they figure out the formula? They held them to 82 points. SGA didn't get going, 19 points. Jared McCain was 0 for 10. I think a lot of the wrong guys are taking shots right now. Yes, it's great for the Thunder to have a bench that's working well for them, but I think that they need to go back to Chet Holmgren. They need to go back to SGA having more shots than what he had. Yeah, he's not having a great night. He needs to keep shooting it. He's your MVP. Act like it. Jared McCain missing 10 shots doesn't mean anything. I've watched series with LeBron, obviously, where nobody on his team can buy a bucket, and you never once seen LeBron go, well, I'm just going to stop shooting the ball, because it's not falling tonight. No, he's going to continue to attack until the final whistle, and, that's exactly how it should be. I don't think the Spurs are ready. I think they have a great team. I think the turnover issues through game 2 and 3, I believe it was, are going to continue to be a problem. I Fox had a weird game last game, 10 points, 10, 11 points, 10 rebounds, something like that. He had a really, really weird game. He had a good game, but it just didn't look like De'Aaron Fox. And then Harper has been less effective since coming back from injury, which obviously he's hurt. I see OKC taking this. I think the refs had a little bit of something to do with it. I think they have a lot more to do with it than most people realize, but that's not neither here nor there. Um, in reality, if you shoot well, you get good open looks, you're going to win the game. But that's not how either of these teams really play. They're attacking the paint. They're forcing whistles to be blown. And it's just the style of play in the NBA nowadays. I think OKC wins tonight. I think OKC wins tomorrow. And I think, or not tomorrow, but when they play again, and then I think this is over. I think it's OKC and the Knicks in the finals, and I think it's OKC in 7. This Knicks team is amazing. I think they're going to drive them to the edge in a lot of games. I think they're going to challenge them the same ways that they've been challenged in this series in a lot of ways. Obviously, the Knicks don't have a Wemby, but they've pretty much shown everybody that the Thunder, aren't without their weaknesses. They can be beaten if you play them the right way. Um, Anyway, guys, I'm kind of all over the place. I think that's it for me today. Thank you guys so much for being here. Appreciate y'all tuning in. As usual, have a great night. Love y'all. Peace.
Okay, let's go.